What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. You know, when I say Africa is rising, that also includes the Caribbean. Because the Caribbean is a satellite or satellite nations of Africa. I want you always to remember that the Caribbean is satellite nations of Africa. They are the territory that African people has managed to maintain and control and govern after being forcibly taken from Africa to the Western Hemisphere. That is our prize on the Western Hemisphere. Those are nations we've created, we hold, and we maintain. And what those Caribbean countries are doing right now is something I've been waiting a very long time for them to do. To start uniting with each other in the same way that European nations unite with themselves to create the United Nations. Free movement amongst Europeans around their country, creating a smooth transition of commerce amongst their different countries, making it easy to build wealth, through the countries. The Caribbean is also doing the same thing, thanks to the leader of this movement, the Barbados, who have a female president, a Madam President, one of the most powerful and influential black women on this planet, who's starting a movement to liberate the Caribbean and have them unite under a form of the United Caribbean Nations, to where there's free movement and commerce amongst the Caribbean nations. Now, not all Caribbeans have jumped on board. You gotta understand, these processes take a little while, all right? Every country has their own political situations they have to deal with. They have their own internal political issues to hash out before they can join the greater body. But best believe, this is the seed of change that we've been waiting for in the Caribbean. The Caribbean is uniting because economically, the Caribbean is a powerhouse. They just need to coalesce their money, coalesce their political power, coalesce their militaries, coalesce their economies together in order to take advantage of the resources that they do have, to take advantage of the money that they do have, and take advantage of their geographical location and the things that they provide the rest of the world. And I keep telling y'all, it's a new day. As Africans are uniting, eliminating visa requirements for travel around the continent, it's coming, not slowly but surely, but very fast and surely. Okay, we always say slowly but surely. No. It's happening very fast and surely in Africa. And now it's happening very fast and surely in the Caribbean. And these are important things for Black power and Black excellence, because we Black people are in the future, and we have to start seeing ourselves in the future. We have to start seeing ourselves as powerhouses, because the future is a multipolar future, meaning multiple points of power, not just one or two great European powers that control and dominate everything. Multipolar, meaning there'll be multiple points of economic powerhouses, military powerhouses, because once you become an economic powerhouse, you can in fact become a military powerhouse. America didn't become a military powerhouse until we was the only game in town. And as a matter of fact, America was only a powerhouse when America became a powerhouse once Europe fell after World War II. It ain't really been that long, and they ain't held on to power for that long because of the greed, because of the arrogance of the European to believe that this was just going to continue on without them having to capitulate to changing world demographics and economic situations. But things are changing. And we as African Americans need to understand that not only our homeland is soon to become a massive powerhouse, the massive powerhouse, but our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, where if you're an African American, I guarantee you 100% that in your family, somebody was from the Caribbean before they came to America. Because the Caribbean was the first stop on those ships before coming to the mainland of America. The Caribbeans are our brothers and our sisters. You see, brother and sister were separated in the Caribbean. Do you hear what I'm saying? That's why is when you hear people like FBA and all them dumbasses try to separate us from our brothers and sisters, understand, brothers and sisters were separated in the Caribbean. Whole African villages were taken to the Caribbean and separated in the Caribbean. Literally, those are legitimate and literal, of all sense of the word, our brothers and sisters, our family, our recent family, not some long distance, recent family, recent historical family, the Caribbean. They've managed to hold territory, which is a great thing for us. We got something out the deal, right? And now they're coalescing into a massive Western powerhouse that won't be manipulated or controlled by the West, because they will be able to generate money and keep money circulating from within the Caribbean body. And they're currently making bilateral deals with the continent of Africa right now. You don't need America to facilitate business on an international scale. We do it ourselves. So African Americans, with all of our power and influence, our job in America is, whatever this country ends up being, this country of America, our job is to take as much political and economic control of it as we can to persuade and influence international agendas. That's what our job is. Our job is to take over as much of the mainland as we can. Not in any hostile way to cause any trouble for anybody else, but to change the posture of America so that we can take our political power and influence in America and combine it with our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean and Africa to forge a better future for everybody. Because if black folks on this planet are doing well, everybody will do well. Because our nature is not to exclude anyone, but it include everybody under the basis of black and African economic power and cultural power. So I just want to let y'all know, Africa is rising, and that includes the Caribbean. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
A historic free movement agreement has come into effect across 4 Caribbean nations: Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And for the first time, citizens can live, work, and settle indefinitely in each other's countries without the need for visas or permits. The deal expands on earlier mobility rules, granting full rights to families, including access to education and health care. Leaders say the move will strengthen regional integration and help stem the loss of skilled workers to North America and Europe. More details on this development in our next report.
On October 1st, 2025, a historic moment unfolded in the Caribbean. 4 nations, Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, officially opened their borders to each other under a landmark free movement agreement. For the first time, just like the EU nations, citizens can live, work, and settle indefinitely in each other's countries without visas or work permits. The new system is simple but far-reaching. A passport stamp or digital record at entry will now be enough to guarantee an indefinite stay. Families relocating will no longer face the uncertainty of short-term arrangements. Children can be enrolled in schools, citizens can access healthcare, and households can build futures in neighboring states once bound by bureaucratic restrictions.
We are virtually the same people. We have no historical animosities against each other, and we are very similar culturally. So, this is a breakthrough, even though it's only 4 countries. The idea is, once the 4 countries make the start and perfect this regime, that others will join.
Until now, the Caribbean community's single market has offered only partial mobility. Citizens could move freely if they were skilled professionals, entrepreneurs, or service providers, but the arrangement excluded many categories of workers and capped stays for others at 6 months. Those rules were seen as a step forward at the time, but they were considered incomplete. The new agreement replaces those limitations with full rights of residence, work, and settlement. The shift is rooted in the 2022 Enhanced Cooperation Chapter of the revised Treaty of Chagar-Ramus. That protocol gave 3 or more CARICOM members the power to deepen integration, even without unanimous approval from the wider bloc. Seizing the opportunity, leaders of Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and St. Vincent pushed ahead. Prime Ministers Mia Mottley, John Briceño, Roosevelt Skerritt, and Ralph Gonsalves signed on, describing the step as vital to both economic resilience and cultural unity. Officials hope the agreement will tackle one of the region's most pressing issues, the loss of skilled professionals. Doctors, teachers, and young graduates often migrate to the United States, Canada, or the United Kingdom in search of higher salaries and opportunities, leaving gaps in critical services at home. So, by allowing freer movement across participating Caribbean states, governments aim to create new opportunities within the region, making migration abroad less attractive. However, security remains a central consideration. Prime Minister Mottley has reassured citizens that border controls will not be abandoned. Each government retains the right to refuse entry to anyone deemed a security threat, and systems are being put in place to track and vet arrivals. Authorities stress that the new openness is about mobility and opportunity, not unchecked access.
All of our countries have a vested interest in cutting down on the number of our people who migrate to North America and Europe, especially since the majority of these migrants tend to be highly educated and trained young people, precisely the citizens that we need to keep at home so that they could produce and contribute to national development.
The model, meanwhile, is not entirely untested. Within the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Dominica and St. Vincent have already experienced similar arrangements, where citizens enjoy indefinite stay, access to services and recognition of credentials without needing work permits. For Barbados and Belize, however, the new regime represents uncharted territory. Despite the concerns, the agreement is live and operating. The first passports have been stamped, and the first families are preparing to cross borders under the new regime. For many, the moment symbolizes a long-awaited fulfillment of decades of discussion about Caribbean unity. But with Jamaica and other CARICOM nations yet to commit, the story is only beginning. Borders have opened. The real question now, who will join next?
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.